All right, let's dive into one of the most game-changing business books out there, Blue Ocean Strategy. It's got this huge, radical promise. What if you could just make your competition completely irrelevant? Sounds pretty good, right? Well, let's see how it works. So, does this feel familiar? You're in a crowded market, just duking it out with your rivals over every single customer. It's this constant, brutal fight, right? You're always looking over your shoulder, trying to get one step ahead. Well, what if you could just stop? What if you could just sidestep that whole mess? At its heart, the book paints this picture of two completely different worlds. On one side, you've got what they call the red ocean. That's probably the world you know, the existing market. The rules are set, the boundaries are drawn, and everyone is just fighting for a piece of the same pie. But on the other side, you have the blue ocean. This is untapped market space that you create, where there's literally no competition. It's a total shift in how you think about business. Now, to really get why a blue ocean is so powerful, you first have to understand the dangers of the red ocean, which, let's be honest, is where most of us are swimming right now. This is just the reality for so many companies. And yeah, that name, red ocean, it's meant to be graphic. It's the idea of the water being turned red by the blood of all the competitors fighting over a shrinking pool of customers. In these markets, strategy feels like a zero-sum game. For you to win, someone else has to lose. So the million-dollar question is, how do you escape that bloody water? How do you find that wide-open, clear blue ocean? Well, the entire book is basically a roadmap for doing exactly that. And here's that alternative. A blue ocean is that uncontested market space. You're not just fighting for a slice of the pie anymore. You're basically baking a whole new pie. It's all about creating this huge leap in value for your customers that opens up brand new demand that nobody even knew existed. Okay, but how do you actually create a blue ocean? Well, it all comes down to this one super powerful idea they call value innovation. And this isn't just about coming up with a cool new feature. It's something much more fundamental. You know, for decades, business strategy has taught us there's this trade-off. You can either offer more value at a higher cost, or you can offer okay value at a lower cost. You have to choose. Well, value innovation just throws that idea out the window. It asks, why can't we do both? The goal is to offer way more value to customers, while at the same time reducing your costs. It sounds like a paradox, but that's what unlocks these brand new markets. Now, this might sound great in theory, but here's the best part. The book doesn't just leave you with a big idea. It actually gives you some practical tools to make it happen. So let's check out the toolkit. It all starts with challenging every single assumption about your industry, and you do that with 4 simple actions. You have to ask yourself, what factors that our industry takes for granted should we completely eliminate? What factors should be reduced way below the industry standard? Which factors should be raised well above the standard? And maybe most importantly, which new factors can we create that the industry has never offered? And this little grid is where those 4 questions come to life. It's the eliminate, reduce, raise, create grid, or ERRC for short. And when you fill this out, you're not just brainstorming, you're actively redesigning your entire value proposition. The eliminate and reduce questions help you slash costs by getting rid of things customers don't really care about. And the raise and create questions push you to innovate and deliver new value. It's that combo that creates something radically different from everyone else. Okay, let's make this real. Theory is great and all, but does this stuff actually work in the real world? The book is packed with examples, but there's one that everyone always talks about. It's kind of the perfect case study. And we are talking, of course, about Cirque du Soleil. I mean, think about it. Before they showed up, you had the traditional kind of low-cost Ringling Brothers circus for kids, or you had high-end, expensive theater for adults. Cirque du Soleil looked at that and said, nah, we're not going to choose. They totally reinvented the whole industry. So here's how they did it, using that ERRC framework. They eliminated the most expensive parts of a traditional circus, things like animal acts and big-name star performers. They reduced the focus on just cheap thrills and danger. But then they raised the whole artistic quality and moved into these beautiful, sophisticated venues. And here's the kicker. They created things a circus never had: a theme, a real storyline, and this incredible refined music. The result? A whole new type of entertainment that adults were happy to pay a premium for. A true blue ocean. And look, this wasn't just a one-off fluke. You see the same logic with the Nintendo Wii. They didn't try to beat Sony and Microsoft with more processing power. Instead, they created a whole new market for fun, active family gaming. Or think about Southwest Airlines. They offered the speed of a plane with the low cost and convenience of driving a car. So, when it's all said and done, what's the final takeaway? Is this the perfect strategy for every business? Well, like any big idea, it's got its pros and its cons. So let's break it down. The strengths are pretty obvious. You get these innovative but simple frameworks. The ideas work across all kinds of industries, and it's all based on tons of research. Now, on the flip side, some critics say it focuses a lot on finding the blue ocean, but not so much on how to manage it once you're there. And it does tend to highlight the massive success stories without digging into why some companies might have tried this and failed. But let's bring it all back to you. Why does any of this matter? Because it gives you a totally new lens to look at your business. It encourages you to stop just competing and to start creating. It's a way to escape those soul-crushing price wars. And it gives you actual practical tools you can use in your very next strategy meeting to challenge the status quo and break the so-called rules of your industry. At the end of the day, there is a very good reason this book is a classic. It's on the shelf in boardrooms and business schools all over the world. Its core idea that the best way to beat the competition is to make it irrelevant is just as powerful today as it ever was. And that's really the thought I want to leave you with. Take a hard look at your own industry, at your own business. What are the rules that everybody just blindly follows? What are the compromises that customers are forced to make every day? And just ask yourself, what would happen if you stopped trying so hard to win the game everyone else is playing, and instead you just invented a whole new one?